Welcome back, everybody, to another Pittsburgh Pirates franchise video where we have cracked into the 2026 season for the very first time, and a good start it has been. We are 4-2 to begin, and now I think it's time to go ahead and take a look at some of our minor league players. We will start off first in AAA with Darnell Smith. If you remember him, he is the knuckleball throwing pitcher, and I'm very excited to see what he can do for us. He has had one start already, and it didn't go quite as good as I would have hoped, but we'll see if we can do any better here against the Stripers. Darnell Smith delivering that good knuckleball, but this time it's caught by Fletcher, and that's going to start the game with a lead-off double. Okay, we had a lot of success with the knuckleball in the short time that we saw him in spring training, and I'm hoping that that's going to carry into the regular year. And yeah, there it is. There's a good knuckleball strikeout on Alvarez. That's awesome. Ty France here now, batting third. And he'll nail that fastball into the gap in left center field, splitting it. And he's going to have a RBI double to begin the game here. So Darnell Smith already letting through a run through only 3 batters. And now J.D. Davis is at the plate. And that knuckleball will catch the top outside edge. Thank you for that call, umpire, as Davis will strike out. And now Tom Murphy is up to the plate. Contact made there for Jarvis going back deep into left field, and he's there. So 1 run across against Smith. And we'll see if we can do anything offensively. Termarr Johnson right now with a .053 batting average. Hits it well into right field, but that's caught down by the center fielder. Okay. Wow, we're going to have to see if we can help Johnson. Back here in the top of the second, 1-2 against Hunter Bishop, and Smith delivers another really good knuckleball that catches the inside edge, and that's a strikeout. Now Jared Sundstrom at the plate, the number 8 hitter. And that knuckleball is tagged well into left field. Jarvis playing, but that's a 2-out single for Sundstrom. Darnell Smith with that knuckleball, and maybe it's me. We're 0-2 against Kilpatrick now. And Stewart gets a bad jump off of that. Bad reaction. But anyways, what I'm saying is Darnell Smith with that knuckleball, maybe I'm just so enthralled and fascinated by it that I'm stubbornly trying to get more with the knuckleball than he naturally would. So it could be my fault that we've led around 2 now against David Fletcher as the lineup turns over. And Smith, before getting out of the second inning, is allowed 2 across. That's tough. Nunez with a good reaction there at third, and we will end the second in strand 2. We got to start turning this around.
No ball.
Top of the fourth now, 0-2 against Nico Cavadas, or Cavadas, not sure. We'll get him on the sweeping curve that time instead of relying on that knuckleball. I know it's unpredictable, but it feels like if you throw it too often, they will start to get a handle on it. And Hunter Bishop with a 106 exit velocity into center field without a 1-out line drive. And now Kilpatrick. Darnell Smith is ahead 0-2 against him. And let's try it. Yep, got him. High and tight inside. It came all the way around and up, and just, that movement is crazy. Termarr Johnson now with a .050 batting average since we did not have a good result the first time. We'll get that over. It's stopped by the third baseman. The throw over, and Johnson will have an infield single. So we'll help his average out just a little bit on that base hit. And now Emmanuel Rodriguez. I think I just said that weird. Excuse me. Emmanuel Rodriguez hits that well into center field, and he's got a single. And now we're cooking. We've got 2 on here. Maybe we can get some run support for Darnell Smith. DJ Stewart at the plate versus Bryce Elder. And we hit that well, but no, that's going to go to second base and back to first for a double play. We do move the runner up to third, and maybe Emmanuel Valdez can get him home with 2 outs. Let's see. Elder delivering, and we'll take a shot on the hip there. Valdez will take the free pass over to first, and now Derek Hall will get an opportunity. 1-2 now. And that's weakly grounded over to third. They play it well, throw it the short way to second, and that will end the fourth. Excuse me, almost said the first. Wow, I cannot talk today. Blah. All right, top of the fifth now, 0-2 against Fletcher. And the knuckleball is grabbed. Sanford reacting well at shortstop. We'll get it back to first in time, though. So 4 1/3 down for Darnell Smith as Nacho Alvarez steps back in. And that knuckleball is chopped over to right field in shallow territory, and Stewart able to grab that. 2 outs now. Ty France in the 3 spot once again. And we get him on the knuckleball. And that'll end the top of the 5th for Smith. Now, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and now we're talking about a better start than it would appear to have been in the beginning 2 innings. Harry Ford, a perfect shot in the right center field going back, and it's gone! That is very, very nice to see. Really hoping for good things out of Harry Ford. He's one of the 2 Idiots franchise legends, and I was really, really excited to get him this year for us here in the Pirates franchise. And that home run is really nice to see. And now Malcolm Nunez, as we've trimmed the lead down to just 1 in the bottom of the 5th. Plenty of ball left to make a comeback, and that's another perfect hit. Nunez into left field, and that will be another hit, this time a single. We've got a man on the base now for Mike Jarvis. 0 for 4 in his last game that he played, and he's also averaging terribly at 0.56. And that Elder slider right there is going to nail him. Just trailing out of the zone, very hard to track that. I think it's a really good slider from Bryce Elder that I noticed in this game. And we'll ground that over to third, and they're going to turn 2. Yeah, okay. The end of the 5th is here now. But Harry Ford gave us a run. So that is pretty cool. Darnell Smith now here, 2-2 against J.D. Davis in the top of the 6th as we try to see how far Smith can go. And that knuckleball is grabbed and lifted well into center field. Rodriguez will post underneath it, and that's out number 1. So we're nearing quality start territory now for Darnell Smith, which is a great turnaround. I feel like he really got a grip on it after the first 2 innings. And that knuckleball will sneak through the swing of Tom Murphy. That's another good strikeout. All right, Cavadas, thank you, announcer in the stadium there. Cavadas back up to the plate, and he will ground out on that slider to Johnson, and we have a quality start officially for Darnell Smith. DJ Stewart now back to the plate in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs as we try to get something going against Elder. He's had a really good game, and Stewart will lift that and split the gap in right center field. That will bounce off the wall, and Stewart has a 2-out double. Bottom of the 6th is not quite done yet. Let's see if Valdez can give us anything, but we're down 0-2 against Elder. He's going to deliver. And no, the slider. I thought it was going to be closer to the zone, and I had to defend 0-2 in my mind. Turns out that was well inside. No reason to swing at it, but he got us, and that's what that slider can do. Hunter Bishop will lift that into right field for Stewart as Darnell Smith has passed the 6 innings pitched mark now and added a 3rd onto that. Jared Sundstrom next. This is only pitch number 80 for Darnell Smith, so he's been working really efficiently, especially with that knuckleball. I'm getting a lot of results on that. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but more often than not, we're getting that strikeout. And then Kilpatrick will ground out to Sanford, and that is 7 innings for Darnell Smith. Really, really like that. Harry Ford's backed up at the plate, and we still have not been able to produce anything other than his solo shot to trim the lead in half. But he will get a 1-out single right through the legs of Bryce Elder, it looked like. And yeah, we're back on base. Ford's got some good speed as well, so that's nice to have and a good trick in the pocket that our catcher prospect can have good speed. And yeah, really easy to steal second when he can't get a grip on the ball. It's like he slipped on a banana peel out of his hand right there. That's Harry Ford's 2nd stolen base to start this year. I know we're only a few games through there, but just something to watch. I do really enjoy stolen bases, as you guys will know. Malcolm Nunez will then strike out, and Ford is at 2nd with 2 outs as we prepare to strand a runner in scoring position with Mike Jarvis if we can't do anything. It's a full count against him, 3-2. And that's good contact, lifted well into center field, but they will post up underneath it, and we'll strand Ford at 2nd. All right, getting down into the nitty-gritty here, top of the 8th, and we put Darnell Smith back out there. It's 0-2 against David Fletcher as the lineup turns over one more time. And we'll get him on the knuckleball, high and inside. It drops in at 67 miles an hour. That thing is damn near an eephus pitch. 0-2 now against Alvarez. Darnell Smith delivering a knuckleball. Jarvis going back to try to get it, and he can't quite reach it. I'm not sure if it's the reaction time or the speed from Jarvis that didn't allow us to get there, but that is a 1-out double. All right. Ty France now at the plate. Darnell Smith with a fastball. Gets that into the zone 0-1, and okay. Smith is complaining of a mild dull pain in the back of the neck. As a precaution, he'll be removed. Well, he went really deep into the game, but we just have to hope for the best here. Doesn't sound serious. And we'll bring in Johan Ramirez to kind of take over here in the middle of this at-bat. And we're 1-2 against Ty France now. Ramirez will get the fastball by him. High and in for a strikeout. 1 out away from stranding their runner in scoring position, and it's the cleanup spot. J.D. Davis, over 3 today, though. Hits that well. Rodriguez reacting swiftly, and we've got it in center field to strand that base runner. There we go. And we're going to bring in Carmen Majinski, as we saw quite a bit of him last year, but I had to send him down to the minors after his performance. So far, he's got 2 innings pitched, and they're both clean. No earned runs against him, as we're not in a safe situation. We're down by 1 in the top of the 9th, and we'll get the fly out to Jarvis in left. Just looking for Majinski basically to hold the score here. And with his MLB experience, I think he's definitely a good pick to do this, as he'll strike out Cavadis. God, I already forgot how to say it. My goodness. 0-2 against Bishop, and he will grab that slider into left field. Lots of action there for Jarvis today in this game, and Bishop has a 2-out single. Now Sundstrom will watch the slider, and Majinski gets us out of the top of the 9th. Now time to either tie it or mount a comeback, and yeah, spoiler alert, we don't. Gwinnett wins. And that kind of wastes a good start by Darnell Smith, and the only thing left to do really is just to see how bad that injury is. He went 7 1/3, 8 strikeouts, I think that said, and 2 earned runs. That's a pretty good start. And okay, yeah, it's not serious, only a day or 2, so we'll go ahead and just keep him active. We'll move into our next minor league game with the Indianapolis Indians, as they are 1-5 to start their year, and let's see if we can turn that around with this guy. Bubba Chandler, who we are so hyped to have in this organization. So far this year, he's only played 1 game. Of course, we're at the very beginning. And it's 0-2 against David Fletcher. Never mind, we got him. Slider outside, gets him to chase, and Bubba Chandler strikes out the first batter that he sees. Now it's 2-2 against Nacho Alvarez. And that's another slider outside to strike him out. First 2 batters up, first 2 batters down. Strikeouts, no defense needed. Let's try another one. 0-2 against Davis, and we got him. 3 sliders outside, 3 strikeouts. Suddenly, algebra is really easy with Bubba Chandler. 3 SLs equals 3 Ks. That's a little clunky, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. And what? Rowdy Tellez is down here in the minor leagues? Well, he'll lift one out in the center field for Rodriguez to start the top of the 2nd, and Chandler's through 1 1/3. And now against Eric Wagaman. And we get him on a slider going away. Okay, 5 batters down, 4 of them via the punch-out slider from Chandler.
3-1.
Loses the curveball there up in the zone, and that's 3-1 now. Let's bring it back here with a fastball. Okay, Cortez fouls that off into left, and now 3-2. Let's see if we can get a backdoor slider. Yep, goes to the top of the zone instead, but that is another strikeout for Chandler. And I did sub out some of the lineup here, so we've got Bryce Johnson in the lineup, which we didn't see yesterday, and he will get it through Darius Vines' legs out into center field for a leadoff single in the top of the 2nd. And now Emmanuel Valdez here, averaging .308 to start this season. That's pretty cool. And he hits that well. It goes to right field, and no play there. It's going to go off of the wall. Valdez with a double. Send the runner home. Can we get it? Yeah, they don't even try it. So that's an RBI double here. Excellent. And Bubba Chandler will be pitching with the lead now. Still seeing if we can do anything more, though, with Brendan Dixon now at the plate. It's 2-2. And we'll miss that 12 curve. It just disappears underneath the zone. That's very, very tough to hit. Harry Ford back to the plate, and the count is evened at 2-2. And he gets contact there. That's going to be a ground out, but we'll advance the runner over to third base. So still productive. Malcolm Nunez in the 8th spot. It's 2-2 against him right now. Vines delivering a bloop to right field, and no, they're going to get underneath that, and we'll strand that base runner. Back to the Bubba Chandler strikeout show against Tom Murphy. And we got him. Slider, this time low and inside. And that's another strikeout for Chandler. Hunter Bishop now at the plate, and it's 1-2 against him. And we'll get him with the curveball this time. You just don't know how it's coming, but you know what the result's going to be against Chandler. And now Kilpatrick 0-2. And Johnson will play that there at second base as the slider could not punch out Kilpatrick. And here in the top of the fourth now as the lineup turns over for Fletcher, full count. And he does not chase the slider away. That's the first time so far.
2-0.
We've walked somebody with Bubba Chandler, and Nacho Alvarez here will ground that. Dixon will throw to second. Williams playing it, and we get the double play with Chandler covering first base. Excellent, 3-6-1. All right, we've cleared the bases now for Davis. And that's hit well into center field. Rodriguez going back, no chance to snag it, and that's a 2-out double for Davis. As now Chandler will have to contend with the runner in scoring position, trying to get out of the top of the fourth. It's Rowdy Tellez coming back. Weakly grounded to Dixon, who will turn around, sprint back over to first, and we're out of the fourth inning now. Bottom of the fourth, and a chance for Emmanuel Rodriguez to do something. In the 3 spot, he's averaging .340. Today, 0 for 1. And that is hit weakly and will just barely get through into center field. A leadoff single for Rodriguez. It also trips me up that we have Emmanuel and N-Manuel on this minor league lineup right now. Bryce Johnson weakly grounded back to Vines, and the only play is at first. So the now runner in scoring position, 1 out for, there he is, N-Manuel Valdez. And we will chop that inside, just late on the timing there. That goes to center field. And yeah, why not try to chance that run over to third? The throw is offline, and Valdez will make it. Brendan Dixon with a runner 90 feet away as we seek more insurance than just one. And we'll hit that to the shortstop. And yeah, that's not going to do it. End of the fourth. Now, top of the fifth, Eric Wagaman versus Bubba Chandler. And he will get a grip on that four-seamer. That's going to go into center field for a leadoff single, and now Bubba Chandler's got some work to do. Carlos Cortez in the 6th spot. We're ahead 0-1. Chandler gets a, oh no, that should have been a double play, but we could not grab that at third base. And now, nobody out, 2 men on for Tom Murphy. Swing and a miss on the changeup inside, and now ahead 0-2. We'll try that slider. Yeah, he just watches it. Another strikeout as Tom Murphy goes down looking. And Bubba Chandler looks composed. 2-2 against Bishop. Got him swinging on the changeup, and that's 2 men down now as we put 2 on to begin the inning. And now, Bubba Chandler has worked 2 outs out of it. 3-1 against Kilpatrick. Nunez able to make a fantastic stop there. Throws it to first, and we strand 2. There was 2 on with nobody out, and based on the defense of Nunez and the skills of Chandler, we get out of there. Bottom of the 5th now for Harry Ford. As Vines is still in there, only 49 pitches to this point. He's been doing very well. Ford will break the bat, and then it'll bounce off the base. It's a base hit, you guys, literally, as Harry Ford will leg that out. Yeah, thank you. That's not an error or anything. Why even show the decision? That's clearly just a hit. Anyways, Malcolm Nunez now, as we'll try to take second with Ford. Let's send him. The throw is way over to the side. And for the second time today, Harry Ford has stolen a base. 3rd time this year. All right, runner in scoring position based off of the legs of Harry Ford. And Mike Jarvis needs to do something here as his average has plummeted down under .050. And he will. He'll bloop it into right field. Harry Ford will come home. And that is an RBI single for Mike Jarvis. There we go. Termarr Johnson at .080 for his average, and that's weakly grounded over to second base, so that average will drop even further. Man, we really got to turn it around with him. This is tough. All right, but top of the 6th now, almost said bottom. Top of the 6th, 0-2 against Alvarez, and Chandler gets another slider strikeout. This thing is just filthy to watch. The batters just don't know what to do with it. 2 outs now against J.D. Davis, and it's 1-1. And that is popped up. Harry Ford will play that in foul territory. And Bubba Chandler will go through 6 innings, no runs allowed, and just racking up the strikeouts. That is just awesome. Emmanuel Valdez in the bottom of the 2nd gets a hold of that, bloops it into left field, and it's not brought in. A great diving effort there from the left fielder, but they can't grab a hold of that ball. And now a runner on for Bryce Johnson. 1 for 2 today. Great contact, blooped into right field. It's shallow, so that will only be a single, but we've got 2 men on now with nobody out for Emmanuel Valdez. Velasquez, a new pitcher, delivering. And that's not going to be very productive for us. That's in foul territory and brought down for the first out. Now Brendan Dixon will get a shot. We're ahead 2-0. Velasquez might have to give us something good. He does not. That's outside, but we swing at it. Stumbling at second, and the only play is at first. No double play to end the inning. And now Harry Ford, 2 men in scoring position. Ahead 2-0 with 2 outs. Great contact. It's perfect. And it's right into the center fielder's glove. Okay. Bubba Chandler in the top of the 7th now against Rowdy Tellez, seeking to go deep into this game. We'll get him to pop up into foul territory. Nunez posted underneath it, and that's 6 1/3 down for Bubba Chandler. How deep can we go? We're ahead 0-2 against Wagaman, and that slider is lifted into left field for Jarvis, who will sit underneath that. One more out to go. Carlos Cortez now, 0-1 against him. He's 1 for 2 today. And that's cracked into center field, but Rodriguez doesn't have far to go, and that's 7 innings for Bubba Chandler. Bottom of the 7th for Malcolm Nunez now. New pitcher on the mound, De Los Santos. And that is lifted into right field. A line drive single for Nunez. All right, now we're starting to really crack into their bullpen. It's very hard versus their starter, but we're starting to have some more success here. Jarvis swinging on that one, way low and inside, and that's going to be the first out. Alika Williams here now will also bloop into right field. Lots of those hits happening. We'll send the runner over to third, and Williams will have a 1-out single. Men on the corners now. Full count for Termarr Johnson. This will be a great moment for him to come through, and he will take a walk. I'll take that. That's productive as we just loaded the bases now for the number 3 hitter, Rodriguez. All right, this is our time to make something happen. That's hit well deep into center field, and it will be caught. But that's deep enough to send the second and third base runners. So that'll be an RBI sac fly, and now runners on the corners with a 3-0 lead. Bryce Johnson at the plate, down 0-2. Swinging and missing underneath that to strand 2 more. But we've got a 3-run lead, and let's go ahead and bring in Grant Ford. The scouting report only shows 4 pitches. No data on him yet. I think that's why it's important to take a look at him. He's ahead 0-2 against Tom Murphy in the top of the 8th. And we'll get him on a slider outside. That might just be the trick against the Stripers here. Just sliders away, and they can't seem to do much with him. Hunter Bishop will lift that again to Jarvis, the most active player today other than a pitcher and a catcher, as everything seems to have gone into left field for him. Pitch number 7 from Grant Ford. No, Kilpatrick gets a good ride into left field, and it's gone. Grant Ford has given up a solo shot, and the lead is now trimmed down to 2. It is late in the game, so I'm not overly concerned, but still, not the result that you want anytime, really. Fletcher lifting that once more to Jarvis, and that will end the top of the 8th there. All right. Can we get any more insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th before we try to close this game down? It's going to be up to Emmanuel Valdez first. Emmanuel. Got to make sure I enunciate that. That's hit well. Splits the gap in right center field, and that will be a leadoff double for Valdez, as he's done his part to ensure that we've got a good chance to add more runs here onto the board. And Brendan Dixon, down 0-1, will get a chance versus A.J. Smith-Shawver. And that's in the dirt, going past the catcher. We'll send the runner to third, and we make it there easily. All right. Wow, 90 feet away. Nobody out. No excuse not to get this guy home. Dixon will pop up. Shallow right, actually just right on the edge of the infield. And that's not a productive out. That's not going to do much for us at all. Harry Ford now, 1-1 for the count. 1 out. And that is driven to right field. That looks like it could be deep enough. The runner on third has 30-some-odd speed. Let's go ahead and send him and hope for a bad throw. Nope. We get tagged at the plate. All right, well, in 9 times out of 10 with that deep and in the minor leagues with a throw, I think that you'll get that run home, but we just couldn't do it today. And to close out the game, we'll bring in Dowry Moretta. If you guys remember, he was a guy that was absent for 25. I know I've told this story a few times, but he was absent for 2025 due to an injury. We finally got him back at the last week of the season, and so we only got to see him for like an inning and 2/3 or something like that. And then in the offseason, Moretta, I had absolutely planned on keeping up in the bullpen, but we just, with the options of some of the other guys, were not able to send them anybody else down. So Moretta's here in AAA, unfortunately, but he'll get the close for us as we bounce back for a win. All right, back to the Major League level just for a bit. It is 4-2 to start the year, and we're facing the Orioles in extras and Felix Bautista on the mound. All right, here we go. 2 on, 1 out for Spencer Horwitz at the plate. Bautista, pitch number 30 coming in. Weakly grounded from Horwitz. Bautista reacting quick, and they've got him at first base. 2 men in scoring position, 2 outs, and oh, Dad, he's no longer there, you guys. Brandon Hyde for the Baltimore Orioles has officially been fired in real life, no longer the manager of the Orioles, because of how bad this season has been, but in the game here, he's still represented. So, all respect to Brandon Hyde. I'm really happy with the job that he did. This year has been terrible to start for the Orioles in real life, but I don't blame that on Hyde. Carter, meanwhile, will take a shot from Cade Smith, and we've got the bases loaded now with 2 outs for Key Brian Hayes. Top of the 10th as we seek to do something. And no. We will strike out with Key Brian Hayes. I guess that is technically something, just not something good. And we've got Bednar now to deal with the base running situation that Extras gives us. Runner on second. A hit 0-2 against Ryan Mountcastle now. Bednar. Got him! Curveball outside as Mountcastle swings and misses. He can't get a hold of it. 1 out now. Jackson Holiday batting in the 9 spot for the Orioles as he'll lift that into right field for Carter. 48 speed on second, or 46, it's hard to tell sometimes. And they're not going to chance it. So now Jordan Westberg with 2 outs. He will lift that to right field for Carter, and the Orioles will not walk it off just yet. We're going to see 11 innings here in Baltimore. I do really love Oriole Park here at Camden Yards, the Baltimore Stadium. It is a beautiful modern retro stadium. Triolo will get that into right field. We'll send the runner home, and we will have it. Yes, all right. The Pirates have taken the lead in the top of the 11th. Nobody out and a base runner still there. Now, Joey Bart batting 8th, averaging .381 to start this season. He'll get a hold of that and get it through past third base. And we've got 2 men on now with nobody out. This is looking like our inning to do it. All right, the 9 spot is going to be Sung Chae Chang, averaging .294 despite going 0 for 3 today. Well, the count was full, but that's going to be ball 4 as Chang will take a walk, and we've got the bases loaded now as the lineup turns over, and it's Luis Arise, averaging .286, and he's 0 for 5 today. Wow, make it 0 for 6 as he'll pop up behind the plate for Adley Rutschman to grab that. Bases loaded with 1 out now. And the number 2 hitter is going to be O'Neal Cruz, who I don't think I've gotten a hit yet here in the regular season. And that streak will continue as he'll strike out underneath that one. And suddenly the bases loaded with 2 outs. As it looks like we're not going to get something done, but Brian Reynolds will get a hold of that and get it past Gunnar Henderson into the left field. 1 run comes across, will hold the runner at third, and the bases are still loaded, but now we've added 2. And the Orioles are going to bring in Ryan Stanek. Look at that flowing hair. Wow. I don't know anything about this guy, but he's got some fabulous hair, that's for sure. And it's now bases loaded situations for Spencer Horwitz. 2 outs, last chance. That's hit well. Goes to right field, but they don't have far to go. And Horwitz will strand 3, but we added 2 runs onto the tally. And it's time to close it down. Holderman's a little fatigued. His stamina's down a little bit, so I'll go ahead and put in Dennis Santana in this spot. He's not had a great start with his 4 innings so far. And Hayes will play that at third. So that ghost runner stays at second. That's a great result for us. Now against Gunnar Henderson. And that's it again over to Hayes. There we go. 2 non-productive outs for Baltimore as Santana is 1 out away from closing this game and saving it for us. And he will do just that. The cutter on the lower outer edge is watched by Tyler O'Neill, and that is a save against Baltimore, and we move up 5-2 to start the year. excellent place to stop right now, as we've highlighted a couple minor leaguers. We're 5-2 to start the year, and maybe we'll take a look at some draft picks next episode. Keep in touch, you guys.